River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It has been a chilly morning, I would say, for myself. Even overnight, if you were stepping out, definitely was a cold one. And I would even say across the region, we're all used to our temperatures, but definitely chilly for all of us, especially in the higher elevations. Now, I don't know if the cold makes you feel like Thanksgiving is on the way or maybe Christmas, but definitely setting up for winter. Not the winter season just yet, but it has been fairly cold out there. Sometimes we have rules in our house, like when we're supposed to turn on the heater, and I think it's time. And it's nice by the fireplace. But what also is nice, if you had a chance to go to the Cascade Christmas show and maybe you loved it and want to take your family and see it again, well, you have other opportunities heading into this weekend. The Cascade Christmas still has some shows going on from the 28th to the 30th. Now, this weekend heading out, it is going to be on the cooler side, waking up in the morning and the later evenings. But in Redding, we're not really going to see too much of those frosty conditions. So not too bad heading out, probably even some upper 50s and 60s. So we'll go ahead and get right into it for you all heading out this Tuesday morning. Getting you through your headlines, there is some widespread dense fog in the Southern Valley, so mainly areas in Butte and Glenn County till about 11 o'clock this morning. So a dense fog advisory has been advised, but patchy fog in the mountains, not a dense fog advisory, but we still have some patchy fog as you're waking up this morning with below freezing temperatures in some locations. So even some patchy frost out there as well. Like I mentioned, it's a chilly start to our day. Now, some of these patchy frost conditions will last for us for our late nights through the early mornings until the weekend. So that's pretty much going to be our story for us here in the mountains and also areas in Trinity County where we also have an advisory. But we'll get into that in just a bit and also talk about a freeze warning in Trinity County. Light rain and drizzle is still possible along the coast as we head into Thanksgiving Day and even into the weekend for some of us as well across the area. So getting into my quick cast this morning, it is a chilly start as I mentioned to the day. So waking up early, 30 degrees as you're heading out. Some of us are at or below freezing this morning. Chester 26, Quincy 28 degrees. So very cool out there. Altura is 19 degrees. So we're having some of that patchy frost and even some of that patchy fog. Along the coast in the 30s, just about 36 degrees in Eureka. Hayfork 35 degrees, Weaverville 36, and some locations out there in Trinity County, even further to the southern portions. Again, I mentioned we're underneath the freeze warning, so even some freezing conditions heading out, sub-freezing, so low 30s and some upper 20s. So check on those pants and make sure you check on those pets out there too. They may not be too happy going out for the morning walk. Around 8 o'clock, we'll start to get a lot of that fog burning off along the coast, like any coastal low clouds, but we're still going to be underneath that dense fog advisory for portions near Butte and also Glenn County. So keep that in mind in the valley, although you're seeing that sunshine at 8 o'clock. That's for us further to the north in Red Bluff and Redding, but it's just about 40 degrees as you're heading out. 35 degrees in Trinity and along the north coast in those low 40s, thicker clouds for us starting off the day. So we're a little bit warmer. We have Mother Nature's blanket still hugging us as we're heading out the door. 36 degrees in Siskiyou County and then 28 in Modoc. Freezing conditions out there, 34 degrees in the eastern mountains as you are heading out the door. High pressure is going to be our friend as we head into this holiday season. Now, what I mean by friend, we're still going to get a little bit of some light showers and light rain possible, maybe not what you want, but good news is most of that system is going to stay further off towards the north in Oregon and Washington. Bad news is if you're traveling in those locations, you may run into a little bit of that heavier rain chances and even some high elevation snow. But most of us will remain dry, cooler evenings, but we're going to notice those temperature changes into the weekend. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But our highs today along the coast, mid to upper 50s, even some low 60s in the valley, upper 40s in the eastern mountains. So we're going to warm up pretty nicely today. Wednesday, surprisingly, is going to be the warmer days of the week before our next system system arrives, and that's going to bring us that cold front and those slight rain and drizzle chances that we're going to talk about in a bit. Low 40s along the coast as you're heading out tonight. But again, as I mentioned, once we head into the later evening hours, overnight into the mornings, we're going to drop back into those low 30s, even the upper 20s. So it's going to get pretty chilly out there for us again across Trinity County as well as the eastern mountains. We will feel those temperatures in the 40s as we head throughout tonight in the valley. If you have any plans heading out to any of the turkey trots before your Thanksgiving meal? Well, yesterday we talked about Redding's turkey trot. Today we are going to talk about Eureka. So you notice the drizzle. Unfortunately, as you're heading out, getting ready for the turkey trot in the morning, we're going to notice more of those clouds moving in the possibility of some drizzle. So make sure you have those shoes ready to go and maybe those extra layers and, be careful out there. You can also walk the turkey trot. It's not something that you have to try to beat a time, I would say. Just enjoy your time out there and be safe with that drizzle that may get on the roads and those sidewalks. Make it a little slick. But it'll be about 46 degrees, so not too bad. Around 9 o'clock, once the race does start, you see the turkey dancing right there in the drizzle. Excited for the turkey trot, probably. Maybe he thinks everyone's out running and not preparing a meal. Maybe you think he's not going to get eaten that day. But it'll be about 49 degrees right when the race does start. When it does start wrapping up around 11 o'clock, mostly cloudy conditions in the low 50s. So it is going to be a fairly nice day, I would say, is temperature-wise, but we'll have to contend with some of that coastal drizzle. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 7-day outlook across Redding. We're going to feel temperatures about 65 degrees as we head throughout the day. Upper 60s getting into your Wednesday, Thursday, 65. Into the weekend, low 60s. Notice we really don't have any of those rain chances, but some added fog and even some clouds may be possible as we get into the weekend. So we'll keep an eye on that as far as any travel concerns, meaning that dense fog can cause some hazardous driving conditions. So that's my main concern, especially heading out this morning. 7-day outlook along the coast. So again, we're going to have those chances for some coastal light rain and even drizzle heading into the weekend, mid to upper 50s, inland area, low 60s for us as we get into Thursday, upper 50s and a slight chance for a light shower or drizzle as well. Upper 50s into the weekend, as well as into Weaverville. We're going to feel temperatures in those mid to upper 50s. Not noticing a big drastic change as far as high temperatures go as we get into the weekend, but some added cloud cover. Where we're going to see that temperature change is near the higher elevations and in the mountains. So our 7-day outlook for Mount Shasta, notice today, tomorrow, and even Thanksgiving Day will be in those mid to upper 50s. Right when that system does pass, we get into the low 50s as we get into the weekend. So cooler conditions, overnight lows again near Alturas, dropping into those low 20s by the weekend, but it's going to set up for a pretty nice warm Thanksgiving Day as well as in Susanville. So chilly conditions again overnight as we head into the morning hours, especially into next week when it does get a little bit drier out there. But I don't think we're going to see anything that will get in our way as far as our holiday goes. Just have to contend with a little bit of that fog, like in Lake Oroville this morning. Looking out there in the North Fork Bay, it is a little foggy and possibly a little misty, probably a little sticky as you're heading out there and getting some added moisture. Not too bad if you want that moisture just to kind of cover some of the areas, but not really seeing that dense fog for us right now in some locations, but we will see it possibly in areas near Chico. So you don't see it right now on the camera, but again, running into widespread dense fog for that dense fog advisory until 11 o'clock. So this is Main Street right now. It does look a little hazy, but take a look right here, Highway 99. As you're traveling on Neal Road, that's where it could get a little choppy. So take your time out there, especially if you're heading to the north or to the south, and maybe you're heading out to Yuba City, commute, morning commute, or holiday travel. We will have that widespread dense fog. So give yourself enough space between each and every vehicle in front of you. I know fog may not be rain, but it can drop visibility to less than a quarter of a mile, so it can get pretty hazardous for some. Highway 44, we're seeing some outbound moving and grooving this morning, and not too many people, but a nice start to our day as you're stepping out the door. And it is a little chilly in areas. You may need to go ahead and turn on those heaters in the car. Hopefully they are working for you. Bald Hill West, we're seeing a little bit of that dew on the camera as we're looking out towards Soda Ridge. Beautiful view out there. there. Already seeing some snow on top of the mountains. And when we get that chance that moves in Thursday into Friday, we may even have a chance for some light showers, higher elevations. Beautiful conditions out there if you're taking a bird's eye view. Nice to start the morning. Picturesque, I would say. And as well as in Fort Jones, seeing some of those low clouds coat the area, and also even the possibility of some patchy fog. Waking up chilly though out there, temperatures in those 20s and 30s. So it's a nice start to our day. Lassen Park, we're seeing a little bit more of that snow melting off of that bench over there, but we are going to get chances heading further into the weekend. Maybe not going to see too much of, I would say, accumulation goes, but probably a dusting or so could be possible. Beautiful conditions, but it is chilly, so bundling up as you are starting off your Tuesday. We did have a little bit of some clearing overnight, so definitely cold out there for us today. And all of this would not be possible without Wind River Resort and Casino. So we wanted to say thank you to Wind River Resort and Casino for sponsoring us and making Weather NorCal possible, and making it possible for me to also be here and giving you the weather. So at Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. So maybe you have some time this holiday weekend and some time off of work to go ahead and do that. Now, looking out into our deeper dive forecast, we're going to start to get in a little bit more. So hopefully I got you all started for your Tuesday. Maybe you're already starting your vacation. And again, just diving a little bit deeper, we're looking at our headlines: widespread dense fog in the South Valley. We are going to see that dense fog advisory, and we'll take a look at those locations in just a bit. Patchy fog again in the mountains, below freezing temperatures, as I mentioned, and it is frosty in some areas this morning. We have freeze warnings and frost advisories to talk about in Trinity County, as well as that patchy frost for us. That is going to be the story for our late nights, overnights into the mornings. Not seeing a widespread for all of us across the region, but it can be possible. A little chillier out there, especially into your weekend. And then that light rain and drizzle is possible as we get into Thursday and even into the weekend for some of us. So we're going to take a deeper look at that. But first, we're going to go ahead and take a hear and a look at one of our sponsors, Shasta Hearing Aids.
Frank, come help with the dishes.
What?
The dishes!
I heard it the first time. I just got back from Shasta Hearing Aids, but she doesn't know it yet. What?
Forget it.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. And we are going to take that deep dive into the forecast and talk about what we could see this morning heading out. So as I mentioned, the dense fog advisory this morning, and that is going to last at just about 11 o'clock. So as you're traveling on Highway 99, keep that in mind, traveling through Chico, Oroville, and Gridley. Even if you're heading down to Yuba City, maybe you're making your commute further south, and you could run into some widespread dense fog till about 11 o'clock this morning. So some areas it may not be as thick, but visibility can drop to less than a quarter of a mile. So keep that in mind, especially as you're heading out, or maybe you have visitors coming to see you. Check on them as they're driving and just see where they are and make sure they're taking it easy out there. We can get that dense fog advisory still until about 11 in Glenn County as well, traveling through Willows and heading north, south, even east and west. So this is going to last again till about 11 o'clock. With these dense fog advisories, we could get our visibility dropping to less than a quarter, even a quarter of a mile. So think about how long a mile is, and a quarter of it, that's not that much space between you and another vehicle. If the visibility does drop, let's say if you have to make any sudden stops, or maybe there's traffic ahead and you're not going to be able to see it. So just keep that in mind when we talk about numbers, less than a quarter of a mile. Think about it like if you're driving through traffic and you need time to stop. So keep that in mind as you're heading out when we say give yourself enough space between you and other vehicles. And as well as heading across like the local areas, we have pedestrians out there that like to go for morning walks and walking their dogs. So that can also become a hazard if you're not paying attention and run into some of those visibility issues. And talking about early morning walks, we mentioned those frost and freeze alerts. Well, we have a freeze warning for us here in Trinity County near Mad River, Ruth, and Hayfork. That's going to last until 9 o'clock this morning. Early morning walks, again, is going to be on the chilly side. Maybe your pets are not going to be too happy, a little stubborn as you're heading out. You're trying to rush and take them out for a walk before you head out to work. Bundle up for yourself as well. It is going to be cold. They may be a little stubborn again, so you might be out there a little bit longer. And we're also going to have that frost advisory till 9 o'clock. Areas near Weaverville, Burnt Ranch, and also the Trinity Center. So if you're traveling 299, that frost advisory, we could get some patchy fog as well with some of that. Not really looking at widespread, but I would just keep that in mind. And again, bundle up out there. Check on your plants. They need a little love too if they're outdoors with these freeze warnings and frost advisories. So chilly conditions heading out this morning. And I mean, bundle up. When I say bundle up, cover up your nose, toes, and your fingers, especially areas where we're at or below freezing, like Altura is 19 degrees. Stepping out this morning, it's cold out there. 31 degrees in Susanville, still fairly chilly. 28 degrees in Quincy. We're going to feel temperatures a little warmer in Red Bluff at 46 degrees, 50 degrees in Willow Creek, and then we're going to feel temperatures 36 as we're heading out in Eureka. Willow Creek, I think that's wrong. It was at 49. I don't know how that changed, but it's pretty chilly out there near Willow Creek, just about 49. Maybe got a little bit warmer at 50 and in those low 40s in that area. But jumping right into a high pressure, it is being our friend right now, I would say, in the sense of keeping us dry. Chilly conditions, not so much. It's allowing us to clear overnight and wake up with these cold mornings. We don't really have too many of those clouds out there to kind of give us that extra layer. But you do notice that cold front, that blue line right behind with the triangles, that's going to bring us some temperature changes for the mountains and even areas, I would say higher elevations is going to feel the major change with that front. It's a weaker cold front for most of us across the region, but what it's also going to bring is that low pressure system, our next system that's going to give us a clip of chances for some isolated light showers, even drizzle along the coast. But notice where we see that little bit of a swirl near Portland and Seattle, that's where it's going to get a little choppy as far as this system. It's going to stay further to the north, but if you are traveling in those locations, you can get a little bit heavier rain pours, some moderate rain showers, even heavy at times, and some high elevation snow, maybe even a mix of some freezing rain. But jumping into our area, we'll see just near Delaware County, Humboldt County, get a clip of it as we head early as Thursday morning. So again, if you're heading out, traveling, drizzle, light showers for our Thanksgiving day. And then we're even going to notice the extra cloud cover across the area. Now, all of us may not have those rain chances, but the interior valley, we still could get some light showers that may be possible. The valley will stay relatively dry, but we'll notice some extra cloud cover moving in as we head throughout our Thursday and Friday. Temperature wise, once the system does pass through, that's when we start to get those temperature changes near the higher elevations. But we'll see some of that fog stick around, a little bit of added cloud cover and clearing as we get into Sunday and even into Monday. So starting off next week, it's going to be a cold start to next week. So heading back to work, chilly starts, conditions will be a little bit on the drier side. We're not really seeing any active patterns as of right now as we start off our Monday. But notice we do have a system further off towards the west, and we're going to keep an eye on that as we head further into next week. Wave heights today, fairly on the low side starting off the day, and we're getting about 2 feet. So pretty low and nice out there for your Tuesday, and it's going to make for a beautiful day to start off. We really don't see any of those waves really impacting along the marine coastal areas as we head into our Wednesday, and our small craft advisory is mainly areas further to the south and even northern portions of Delaware County. So most of us will see temperatures fairly nice to take any views out there for the sun with the sunrise just around 7:15 in the morning. Our neighborhood forecast, sponsored by Dignity Health, we're noticing today, again, cooler starts to the day. Weaverville, 60s for the high. Big Flat, one of the warmer spots at 68 degrees. And then we'll feel temperatures in those mid to upper 50s until we head into the weekend. And we'll get into the 60s starting off on Monday. But overnight lows will be on the cool and chilly side. Looking at low 60s today, Thanksgiving Day, 58 degrees. And low 30s as we head into the weekend. But we're only going to notice a little bit of extra cloud cover, maybe a slight chance for a light shower or drizzle as we head into Friday. Our greater chances are along the coast. Redway will see a little bit more of those clouds heading into Thanksgiving Day, just about 61 degrees. And we'll feel those 60s and upper 50s into the weekend. Lows really don't drop below freezing, but still a little bit cooler as that system pushes through. We're just going to notice some more clouds kicking into the area. 58 degrees in Ferndale for the high today. Fortuna, 59 degrees. A little bit on the light breezy side. We could get gusts today about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mid to upper 50s as we head into Thanksgiving Day. But again, we do start to get those rain chances, light rain, and even some drizzle as we get into Thursday, Friday, and even your Saturday right there along the coast. North coast heading up to Arcata, Eureka, in those mid to upper 50s. Trinidad, 59 degrees. Nice out there as we're starting the day. We're going to feel temperatures though. Some areas, like I said, we noticed that we're in like the 30s and 20s for our starts of the days, but even 40s can feel cold to some, especially if you live there for quite a while. So it could be a little bit cool stepping out as well, although we're in those upper 30s and 40s. Blue Lake, 59 degrees, mid to upper 50s as we head into Thanksgiving Day in Hoopa, just about 61 degrees, 62 degrees in Willow Creek. We'll feel temperatures in Gasky, just about 62 for the highs today. Crescent City, 57. And then we'll also notice some light rain showers and drizzle as we get into later Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday and Saturday. So those chances are going to stick around. Most of the accumulation will be about 1/4 of an inch from Wednesday to Saturday, possibly, mainly in Del Norte County, northern portions, Crescent City, Gasky, and near Smith Rivers, where we can see a little bit more of those chances for those light showers instead of a drizzle. Looking at Siskiyou County, we're going to feel temperatures in the 50s for us today. 50 degrees in Wairika, just about 57 degrees across Said Valley, and Happy Camp, 55. Those 50s will continue into Thursday, and then a slight chance for a light shower as we get into Friday. Your weekend setting up in the low 50s, dropping at or below freezing for our overnight temperatures into the morning. Scott Valley, 52 degrees today, warming up tomorrow about 59, one of the warmer days for a lot of us across the region for Wednesday. Thursday, we'll feel temperatures in the low 50s, and overnight lows get chilly and highs in the 50s as we get into the weekend. Mount Shasta, temperatures in those mid to upper 50s, and then we get into the low 50s by the weekend. Overnight lows get into about the low 30s, 50s for the high, 55 starting off next week. But we're going to notice a little extra cloud cover into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Patchy fog and also frost could be possible. Alturas, cold starts to the day, and lows will get mainly into those mid to upper 20s. We even get some low 20s in some locations, even some teens, but highs getting into about 50s as we get into tomorrow. 60 degrees for Thanksgiving Day, and then that front pushes through. That's where we're going to see the bigger chances for any temperature changes into the weekend near Alturas and Modoc counties, where we're going to see more of the effect. 40s on the way, and even some high elevation light snow showers are possible. Bernie, we're going to feel temperatures cooler this morning, just in those lower 30s, upper 20s, and then we get into the 50s across the area. Shingleton about 56 degrees, and then those mid to upper 50s as we get into Thanksgiving Day. Low 50s for Friday and ahead. We're going to feel temperatures a little bit on the warmer side before Saturday and Sunday, and we get into the 40s. So setting up for pretty chilly conditions for your weekend. Lassen Park, upper 40s for the highs today, and then the 40s are going to continue into the weekend. Lower 40s into Saturday, 35 degrees by Sunday. So very cold conditions, almost freezing. Freezing point is at 32 degrees, but we will drop below that overnight. Chester, temperatures in the mid to upper 50s as we get into tomorrow, warmer day of the week, and it's going to feel pretty much the same on Thanksgiving Day. A degree or two, you may not notice it, but once we drop about 5 to 10 degrees like we will this weekend, that's when it becomes pretty noticeable, and those layers need to start coming out. About 47 degrees on Sunday for Chester. Eastern Mountains, we're going to feel temperatures in Paradise mid to upper 50s for the highs. Thanksgiving Day, about 59 degrees. We could get some low 60s possible, I would say, but pretty nice and calm as we get into the weekend, mid to upper 50s for any holiday travel. Susanville, a little bit cooler for us in the mid 50s as we get into today. 57 degrees for tomorrow, 59 on Thursday, so a little bit warmer Thanksgiving Day out there in Susanville. And then the weekend, 40s. So it is going to get chilly, and we start to get those low 30s and upper 20s starting to make its way into the area. Light breezes, we can get gusts at about 10 to 15 miles per hour as we get into the weekend, but it's going to make the cold feel even colder, so keep that in mind. Oroville, we're dealing with that dense fog advisory again till about 11 o'clock this morning, but temperature is not too shabby in those mid to upper 40s as you're heading out. Highs get into the 60s, and we even feel that lasting as we get into the weekend. So mid to upper 50s, low 60s, 63 degrees for our Thanksgiving Day. So not too bad across Chico, just continuing with that dense fog advisory till 11 o'clock this morning. And we may notice some patchy fog even as we head into the weekend. Not really seeing those rain chances, but we may get a little bit more of that moisture kicking in, and some added cloud cover will lead to some of that dense fog as we head into our late overnight, early morning hours. We'll see a little bit more cloud cover on Saturday, and temperatures in those mid to upper 50s is what you'll feel when you're heading out. In the Valley North, temperature is just about 62 degrees in Whiskeytown, Red Bluff. Our 7-day outlook, we have those mid to upper 60s tomorrow, and then for Thanksgiving Day, the low 60s. And that's going to continue into the weekend. You may notice a little bit of that patchy fog as well. Not really in the dense fog advisory for Red Bluff, just ahead of it, but that patchy fog may be possible. You're heading south, you'll notice it'll start to get a little bit more widespread for you. Reading, we're going to feel temperature 65 degrees for the high today, and heading into Wednesday, so one of the warmer days of the week. Thanksgiving Day, 65 degrees, and we mentioned the turkey trot starting at 8 o'clock for our Thursday. So it'll be in maybe the low 40s as you're heading out for Thursday. Not too bad. Mostly cloudy starting off, and then we'll get some sunshine and partly cloudy conditions throughout your Thanksgiving Day. And then into the weekend, low 60s will stick with us. So we're not really feeling a big drastic change as far as temperatures go, or even those rain chances like our friends around us. But we may notice a little bit more extra cloud cover out there. So I hope everyone is having a fantastic start to your week and looking forward to the weekend. Although some of us may be a little bit on the cooler and chilly side, we're going to go ahead and jump right back into some of our views across the area. Soda Ridge, looking nice out there. Heading out, I did see a little bit more of that traffic just about 20 minutes ago, but it doesn't look like it's too busy if you notice further off to the corner. But we're noticing those clouds in Fort Jones, very pretty bird's eye view out there for us today. And even across the area, although we're dealing with some fog in Lake Oroville, still going to be a nice day shaping out. Just give yourself time until we get into the afternoon. And if you're traveling around the area, because you could run into some of that widespread dense fog. Lake Oroville, north of Fort Bay, not looking too bad out there. Well, I thank you all for tuning in with me today as I'm filling in for Mike as he's enjoying his holiday week. And I will be back with you all throughout the day and tomorrow. So I'm going to leave you up to look at some of these beautiful views across our region. And I will see you soon. Chico, take it easy out there, and everyone across the Northern California. And even if you're traveling or having family come in, welcome to the area. Have a great day.